Hare Krishna. So we'd like to welcome everyone to the Sunday program. I see there's a lot of room towards the altar, and if somebody wants to be comfortable, you can just move a bit to the left. So Prabhupada, when he started the ISKCON movement, as some of you may know, Prabhupada opened the first temple in which city? New York. He introduced a Sunday feast. Prabhupada knew that a day would come when most of ISKCON devotees would be living at home, doing jobs and businesses, and he felt that we must have a program on a Sunday, which is a holiday, so that people are reminded of the importance of spiritual life. So Prabhupada introduced this Sunday program, and nearly every temple of the world, in the world has this program on Sunday. In the Arab countries, I think they have it on Friday, because Friday is a holiday there. But they have this program once a week so that we can all get together and hear the philosophy. So this is a very nice program, and spiritual association is very important if we want peace of mind. So we have limited time today. I have a flight to catch. We're going to discuss a little bit on the Bhagavad Gita, and then we have a real important announcement to make and read to you a new shortcut to go back to Godhead. Many times people say, don't you have any shortcuts? So we do have some shortcuts, and we'll reveal that long kept secret today. Okay. I wish you had a screen. Okay. So the Bhagavad Gita is our guide. We all need guides, isn't it? Or teachers. Just like when you started a schooling career, you had so many guides, teachers, and in every sphere of life, we need guides. Bhagavad Gita actually is like a manual. Just like if you buy an expensive product, you get a manual with that, isn't it? And then what does the manual contain? Do's and don'ts. This you can do, this you can't do. If you do, it will be bad. So Bhagavad Gita is a manual that tells us how to lead this human life. In the second chapter, Arjuna said, I'm getting confused, what should I do? What was Arjuna's diorama? On the one hand, he was born, he was a Kshatriya. And a Kshatriya's duty is to fight for the right cause. And he was being he and his brothers were being deprived of a kingdom that really belonged to them. So Krishna wanted him to fight because in such a situation, that's the only option. Krishna tried his best to broker peace, but Duryodhana and company refused. At one point, Arjuna said, just give us 5 villages. Because we are all Kshatriyas, we must have something to administer. Give us 5 villages. But Duryodhana said, 5 villages? We won't even give you enough space to keep for a needle to penetrate. So then there was ultimately no choice. But still Arjuna was confused. And he was hesitant because he saw on the opposing side all those people that he respected very much. And look at the renunciation of the Pandavas. They were willing to sacrifice a whole kingdom in exchange for 5 villages. So Arjuna was in a dilemma. Do you people get in dilemma sometimes? Sometimes or all the time? If you say sometimes, that's a compliment. But most people tell me they're in dilemma all the time. Is that true? To do or not to do or not to do. That's the concept. You often wish, oh yeah, I wish we had a monitor or maybe smartphone or some electronic gadget is going to come out that's going to say, okay, you press this button and you get the answer. Just like they have it for astrology. You know, astrologers are doing a booming business now, did you know that? Because now it's become so easy. They all have their smartphones. They have everything programmed. They put your date of birth and give you an answer. So, I know many people in Russia, they couldn't get a job anywhere, but they're doing pretty good business as astrologers. I was joking with them. I said, if you can't make it in any profession, you can make it as an astrologer at least. So, we are often in dilemma. The dilemma what to do or not to do. So Arjuna pleaded to his master, please tell me what I should do. I'm a confused soul. Now you may say, but we also have guides. But a guide has to be a perfect guide, not just anyone. The guide must have some credentials. For example, for spiritual life, your guide should have control over mind and senses. Your guide should have character, should be exemplary. So Arjuna surrendered to Krishna and said, please guide me. Then Krishna began to speak the philosophy. And in 18th chapter, Krishna asked, have you heard this with an attentive mind? Is your illusion gone? And Arjuna said, yes. So this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita is for our benefit. And I just want to read two verses from the 18th chapter. One is 1864 and one is, Krishna says in 1864, because you are my very dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. You want to repeat after me? Because you are my very dear friend. Because you are my very dear friend. I am speaking to you. My supreme instruction. The most confidential. Of all. Hear this from me. For it is for your benefit. And then Krishna goes on to say, Man bhava madhakto madhyaji manavaskuru. So, Bhagavad Gita is meant to enlighten us. And you may have noted in this translation, Krishna says, this is for your benefit. If you read the Gita, the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust may gain a little bit. They sold one more book. Ultimately, the beneficiary is you. The beneficiary is you in the sense, you will get some direction. What you do in life. We offer this prayer. Om Gyan Niranjandasya Jnananjana Shalakya. What this prayer means is, I was born in ignorance, but by the mercy of my spiritual teacher, my ignorance has been removed. Just like in any field, when you were born, you didn't know how to write ABCD, did you? Had you not gone to school or pursued an educational career, you still wouldn't know how to write ABCD. So we go through an educational process to learn knowledge. So similarly, we need to learn spiritual knowledge also. And you can understand that by reading the words of the Lord, by approaching a saintly person. Just like if anyone reads the Bhagavad Gita intelligently, with concentration, he will know what I should be doing. I think I gave you this story yesterday. This is a very recent story, an unnamed story. I was on a tour of Canada, and a Canadian girl has become a devotee recently, or 7 months ago. So she's young, about 22. So I asked her, how did she become a devotee? And she told me, she found the Bhagavad Gita in French online for a second-hand price of $2. The book was wrinkled. She just said, let me take it, I can afford $2. I can't afford more. It said, Book of Knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, $2. She bought the Gita and she started reading it. And she read it on her own. And here was a girl who was addicted to drugs, who attempted suicide 3 times. And she read the Gita. And she found the Gita so informative that she read it the second time, came to an ISKCON temple, and became a full-time devotee. This is one example. There's another story where somebody found a wrinkled copy of a Gita in a second-hand bookstore. He got it for 50 cents. It was in such a wrinkled condition. He started reading it, and it changed his whole life. So Bhagavad Gita has changed the lives of umpteen number of people. So Krishna is saying, I'm speaking to you because you're my friend, and this confidential knowledge is for your benefit. So we must understand this knowledge is for our benefit. Just like every father and mother desires that their offspring be successful. Am I right? So the Lord also desires that we be happy. One of the characteristics of the Supreme Lord is He is always blissful. Anandmaya, always blissful. Are we always blissful? Are we? No. Let's be honest. We are sitting in front of the Lord. Okay. So, we make a show of being blissful, isn't it? Actually, we are trained. You fly in a plane, as you're coming in and going out, the air hostess greets you with a big smile. To give you a good welcome. Walk into any hotel. In fact, people are taught how to smile. Do you know that? There are courses that tell you how to smile so you can show your white teeth. So just because they're smiling doesn't mean they're happy or peaceful. Within ourselves, there's always a war going on. Do this, do that. Should I take the spiritual life or should I not take? If I take the spiritual life, I'll lose something. And then another thought may be, if you take the material life, you'll lose something. So, what does Bhagavad Gita say? Bhagavad Gita says, learn to perform your actions for the pleasure of the Lord. And Krishna says, Yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad dehosi dadasi, yad tapasasi kaunteya, tat karshapanamana. Whatever you do as an offering unto me. Now Krishna gave Arjuna the full philosophy. Then in the end Krishna said, Is your illusion now gone? It's just like a teacher explains to the students and says, have you understood? If someone is a bright student, he says, yes. If someone is not a bright student, he says, please tell me again. But he inquired, so Krishna also inquired, is your illusion now gone? And Arjuna said, yes. And then what did Krishna say? Now do as you see fit. So the Lord gives us this instruction. And what is Krishna saying? Perform your duty, but with a mind dedicated to me. Krishna told Arjuna, Tasmat sarveshu kuleshu manasmara yudhacha. With a mind and intelligence dedicated to me, O Arjuna, you should do your duty. So similarly, we may all have different duties. In the Vedic model, we have varnashram. Varnashram means dividing society into four social and spiritual orders. Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasa. And then Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. So in society, you must have celibate monks who will preach. Then you can have householders, husband and wife, who live together for the purpose of practicing Krishna consciousness. So in the Grihastha ashram also, one should practice spiritual life. So Krishna says, do your duty, do it for my pleasure. What is our duty? That will vary according to which ashram you belong to. A brahmachari's duty is to go house to house begging and to preach the message of the Lord. A householder's duty is to maintain his family, earn livelihood, and he gets guidance based on the teaching of the scriptures from saintly people. So Krishna wants us to act for his pleasure. And Krishna says, Arjuna declared to the world, my devotee will never perish. What is the famous verse? We are all looking for protection, is that right? We have, I'm sure those of you who have expensive homes have security arrangements also. Electric alarm. And if it doesn't matter what security system you invent, the thieves are a step ahead. Is that right? But nevertheless, we have security arrangements. So nations have big armies. This is the security arrangement. But the real security we want will be there if we take shelter of the Lord. There's this saying, Rakhe Krishna Mare Ke, Mare Krishna Rakhe Ke. Who Krishna wants to protect, no one can annihilate. If Krishna wants to annihilate, no one can protect. So we take shelter of Krishna, that is real protection. In the Bhagavatam you see how Prahlad Maharaj was tortured by his demonic father. His only crime was attachment to the Lord. He was thrown from mountain tops. He had poisonous snakes surround him. Elephants walk on him, but he survived because he had the love of mercy. So, have you heard of Durvasa Muni? Have you all heard of Durvasa Muni? One of his characteristics is easily pleased, easily displeased. So Durvasa Muni came to the house of Duryodhana, and he doesn't travel alone. He travels with 10,000 disciples. Fortunately, they don't have to queue up for American visas. And fortunately, they don't have to fly on Delta or American Air. They have mystic powers by which they can fly and parachute anywhere. So, which we can't achieve. So Durvasa Muni came with his 10,000 disciples to Duryodhana's house. And Duryodhana was a good diplomat, he said. He took care. He was a good host. Served them nice prasad, etc. So as they were leaving, Durvasa Muni said, "Is there anything I can do for you in exchange?" It's normal that if somebody is very hospitable, then you want to reciprocate, am I right? So Durvasa Muni asked, is there anything I can do in exchange? And Duryodhana said, "Just like you purified my house, please purify my dear cousin's house." Which was, but please go there in the afternoon, after noon. So Duryodhana said, "Okay, I'll gladly do that." Durvasa Muni came with his 10,000 followers. Imagine someone showing up at your door with 10,000 people. How would you take care of them? So Durvasa Muni came unannounced with his 10,000 guests to Duryodhana's house. Sorry, Yudhishthira Maharaja's residence in the jungle. And said, Yudhishthira said, "Please come in." Durvasa said, "I need to go and take a bath." And Yudhishthira said, "Okay, in the meantime I'll get prasad ready." Kunti, Draupadi had received a special benediction. The benediction was, till she had, the sun god gave her this benediction, till she had a noon lunch, she would eat every day at the right time. Till she had a noon lunch, she could feed millions of people. Because the Pandavas were very generous and magnanimous. They were used to distributing prasad. And so she got this Akshay Patra. Akshay Patra is a very famous word in ISKCON for many reasons which I won't discuss. So she had an Akshay Patra that could give unlimited food to unlimited people. But the key was only till she had her lunch. After that, it would not work. So Duryodhana knew that. So his game plan was, Durvasa will go there after lunch and he will not be received properly and he's going to get angry and then he's going to curse the Pandavas. But Duryodhana had tried every trick under the sun to annihilate them. At one time, they were living in a house of lac and the house was set on fire. And Durvasa and Duryodhana and the Dhritarashtra were convinced the Pandavas have died. So they made a big show in society as if they were mourning for their dear cousin's death. But then they found that they had escaped from an underground tunnel and they were still alive. So Durvasa Muni Duryodhana was hoping that Durvasa Muni would get annoyed. Yudhishthira told Draupadi, "Prepare prasad for 10,000 guests." And she said, "Now? How can I do that? I've already eaten. My Akshay Patra won't deliver any more food." So being a woman, she got into anxiety and she started crying. As she was crying, somebody knocked at the door. And she opened the door. And who was at the door? Kṛṣṇa! Kṛṣṇa said, "Draupadi, I'm very hungry. Give me something to eat." And she said, "There's nothing left in the house. And now I've already eaten. So my Akshay Patra won't provide also." Krishna said, I don't believe it. Let me go and see in the kitchen. So the Lord went to the kitchen. And there, what did he see? One grain stuck at the bottom, which was not noticed. So the Lord said, you said there's nothing? Look at this. And he took the grain and ate it. As he ate it, Rasamuni and his followers were gone to the Ganga to take a bath. It's normal to take a noon bath before lunch. So they'd gone to take a bath. They started getting hiccups. They get hiccups. So when they got hiccups, all of it, the Rasamuni realized there is some leela taking place. A minute ago we were hungry, now we are over full, and they all started getting such deep hiccups. And the Rasamuni had already burnt his fingers with Amrish Maharaj. So he said, Krishna is doing something. So they ran away. They didn't even go for lunch. And then Krishna told Bhimsen, go and call the Rasamuni for lunch. Tell him the prasad is ready. So Bhimsen came to the banks of the river and said, Rasamuni, your prasad is ready. Please come with your followers. And then the local people reciting there said, oh, the Rasamuni and his followers ran away. We don't know why. So the Pandavas were saying. So there are many examples how Krishna protects his devotees. So if you want a protection plan, especially in this country, everything is insured, am I right? Even the insurance agents are insured. So almost everybody gets insured. I was told that if you want to buy a life insurance, the agents give you a good deal if you have dogs and cats. So if you want insurance, this is the real insurance, taking shelter of the Lord. And with this insurance, you don't have to pay a financial premium, but you don't have to pay a premium in terms of effort. You have to find time to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So we should not waste this valuable human life. This valuable human life is something very rare. When you go to an ISKCON temple, you don't get some social talk, commercial talk. You get the real talk. That is, use this human life to serve the Lord. And if you try this chanting, this will give you peace of mind and help you to lead a tension-free life. So we want you to lead a, what life? Of course, the pharmaceutical manufacturers and the medical industry would like you not to have a peaceful life. If we had a peaceful life, they would go broke. I had one prominent doctor tell me, if they find a cure to cancer, so many people will become unemployed. Because so many people are employed by this industry. So, but the devotees of the Lord, they are your genuine friends. They are your real friends. Srila Prabhupada, when he would sign his letters, he would say, your ever well-wisher, you know that? So a saintly person, a genuine saintly person is your well-wisher. He wants you to be happy. But he wants you to experience the real happiness and not the fake happiness. Fake happiness means today you're happy, tomorrow you're miserable. If you examine the traditional sources of sense pleasure, they may give you some sense pleasure today, but this can end at any moment, am I right? Whereas the happiness you get by following a spiritual path gives you permanent happiness. So please try this process. This process is free. And there's another big advantage. If you become a Hare Krishna, if you start chanting, shall I tell you another advantage? Sometimes people say, you should have said this first. Want to hear?
Yes.
You'll save money. They'll say, how? Because once you become a devotee, you restrict your activities to home, office, temple. That's a pattern everywhere. So please take the Krishna consciousness and be happy. Hare Krishna.